Today on Cloud Renegade, we're going to go into part 2 of Microsoft Teams licensing with the audio conferencing license. Hey all, Adam Ball here, Cloud Renegade, and we're jumping right into part 2 on Microsoft Teams licensing. If you didn't catch part 1, you'll be able to go right over here, I guess, and we will post a link to that so you can go back and catch the core licensing. Today on part 2, we are going to dive straight into the audio conferencing license and talk about what it is and what do you get with it and which license do you need to add it on and what license is it included with. And so with that, what we want to do is just kind of set the tone of what is the audio conferencing license. The audio conferencing license is kind of unique because people go, oh, I need that for meetings. And as we discussed in part 1, meetings comes with the Teams license. So whether you own an E1, an E3, or an E5, you get Microsoft Teams meetings. So what does the audio conferencing license get you? The audio conferencing license is going to get you the ability to dial into a meeting. So when you send out that meeting invite, you'll get a phone number with a conference ID that you can call into. In addition, you will also be able to call out from that conference to somebody on the PSTN. So basically, if you say, I want to call back or I want to call out to somebody on their mobile phone and invite them into the call, we're going to get that call out feature as well as the dial in feature. This is really important to note that really all the audio conferencing licenses is a PSTN bridge or an audio bridge into the phone network so that we can have people calling in from the phone. That's it. That's all the audio conferencing license is. A lot of times people ask me questions around that and they'll say, well, they'll get confused and not really understand that you already get Teams meetings. If a user doesn't need to be hosting a meeting where people are dialing in, you don't need the license. So let's pause there. Let's talk about what license comes with it, what license doesn't. So in part 1, we talked about that E1, E3, and E5 license. So the E1 or the E3 license needs to have an add-on, the audio conferencing add-on. The E5 license includes it. And so when we're talking about that add-on license, it's the audio conferencing license. The list price is $4 per user per month that needs it. Now, specifically what we're talking about who needs that license is the meeting organizer. So if I'm scheduling the meeting, I need to have people dialing into it, I need the license. They don't need that license. So if I've got a group of people who are organizing meetings, but these other people are never organizing meetings, all I need is for those select people who are going to be organizers to have the audio conferencing license. In addition, the audio conferencing license comes in 2 different flavors. It comes in the, I like to call it the all-you-can-eat model, where we get unlimited dial-in capabilities for meetings, and that's the $4 per user per month for the organizer, whoever is going to be the organizer of that meeting. And then we have the audio conferencing with the pay-as-you-go, and this is dependent on the communications credits. So if I buy communications credits, I can give a user, say it's Susie, a license for audio conferencing, and she can host meetings and they'll have that audio conferencing bridge. The only difference is that anytime somebody utilizes that meeting, that call in to that meeting, I'm now paying per minute as we go along. That might end up costing me much more than $4 per user per month, or for Susie, if she's got a lot of these meetings, it might cost me more than $4. So the key thing there is to know how much time are people actually consuming on dial-in for those meetings to determine whether or not you should get them an all-you-can-eat kind of model or, hey, pay as you go. I've seen a lot of customers who have had a good success where they say, I'm going to give everybody audio conferencing, but we know that 3/4 or 50% of our staff never host meetings. So if they do host a meeting and they do happen to have dial in, it's going to cost me a lot less than $48, 12 months for times $4 a month. It's going to cost me a lot less per year than $48 for that user. And this is all USD. So if you're watching this from another country, your prices might be slightly off, but this is all in US dollars. but the idea here is that we need to know what comes with that. So that's a real key thing. The other side of the coin is, so we just talked about dial in. Like, so if I'm a meeting organizer, I send out that meeting and Bob decides to dial in from his mobile phone instead of using the Teams mobile client, then that's fine. That dial in is taken care of through that license. The other thing that the audio conferencing license allows us to do, and I mentioned it earlier, is the dial out from the meeting. So if you've ever used the call me back, where I go to sign into the meeting and I say call me back, and it sees my phone number and it dials me back, and then I answer and I'm right into the call. That comes with the audio conferencing license as well. The audio conferencing license, when you're purchasing that and you're doing the call me back feature, the license states that you get 60 minutes per license assigned. So if I have 100 users and I only have 10 licenses assigned, I get 10 times 60 for 600 minutes of call me back. If I don't have communications credits enabled or turned on, when I expire that 600th minute, that call that was on the call me back drops, just goes away. It's done. So if you are going to turn on call me back and you don't have communications credits set up, you need to think about turning on communications credits first off, because that's just the easy way to deal with that. Secondly, you need to watch your pool of minutes so that you know whether or not you need to adjust that. Because if you own those licenses, maybe you need to assign them. And because if you, like I said, if you own 100 and you only have 10 assigned, maybe you assign the other 100 or the other 90 so that you end up with 6,000 minutes of call me back minutes instead of just the 600. So that's a key thing. So a couple differences, right? We already said the E5 license includes the audio conferencing license. So you only need the add-on if you have meeting organizers who are an E1 or E3 and need to have other people be able to call into their meeting. So if I'm a user and I'm not the meeting organizer and I'm never organizing meetings, I don't need the audio conferencing license. Only the meeting organizer. So that's part one. Part two is that you, with the $4 or the all-you-can-eat license, the audio conferencing license, you get unlimited dial-in into your meetings, and then you get 60 minutes of call me back per license assigned. Again, key piece here, it's per license assigned, not just that you own the license, but that you actually have those licenses assigned to a user. So those three things are what's important to think about when we're talking about the audio conferencing license within Microsoft Teams. Hopefully you found this helpful. If you did and you missed part one, go back and watch that. In part three, we are actually going to come back and talk very specifically around the phone system license. So we'll catch you next time. Thanks.